What's up, everyone? I just wanted to relay a concept that drastically changed my outcomes in business. And you might be asking, like, who am I? I'll get to that in a second. But what I do want to share with you is that I'm going to relate this concept actually back to a business that I owned back in 1999. So who's this for? This is for anybody that's a coach, a consultant, or a creator. That essentially realistically encompasses everybody, because even if you're an employee, you're probably consulting and teaching other people inside that business how to be a better employee, or you're teaching them a skill. So technically you're consulting them. Most everybody coaches somebody in their life, and hopefully you're a content creator, because if you're trying to run or operate a business in 2025, you better be creating content, and this can be the kind of content you create. Let's say you're a coach, consultant, or creator, and you've mastered delivering a specific transformation, or you have a specific product, preferably some sort of growth for a specific niche. So you have a very specific audience and you fix a very specific problem. That's who this is for. If you don't have this figured out yet, I actually do have a free school community where we helped craft offers, and you can go ahead and click on that and join that, and we'll actually help you think through where you are right now, what you've overcome, and a specific offer you might be able to offer to an audience. Now, who is this for if you're a coach or a consultant? Well, if you're stuck and your revenue is kind of flatlined and you're finally ready to take a look at the model that allows you to scale, so I won't say effortlessly, but with concerted effort, then this is definitely for you. If you're a beginner, I'd love to work with you, but the content that I'm about to go through isn't necessarily suited for a beginner. I mean, you could take notes, but again, that school community would help you craft an offer and start from the very beginning. Now, I've been where you're at, where things are flatlining, and I know how you feel, but it's important to focus on the next step, not steps 2 through 10. And that's why I just kind of mentioned, if you're a beginner, you got to go on to step 1. You can't look at these other steps quite yet. This is going to be especially for you if you feel like you don't have a competitive edge. And if you're struggling to make like 2 to 5K a month due to competition. Now, if you're feeling busy, because the more clients you onboard, the less time freedom you have. You have ever dealt with incompetent clients that suck up all your time? They don't fulfill on their commitments. You still generate them results, and those results just aren't good enough, even though they put zero effort in, which would then cause you to churn clients every 60 to 90 days. And of course, that puts you in a position where you always have to chase after new ones. And the same thing repeats itself, keeping you at the same revenue, but kind of feeling like you're spinning your wheels. So the one thing that comes from doing too much is just average results and average returns on everything. So if you're also tired of prospects not showing up for your sales calls, ghosting you, and then telling you, oh yeah, I bought that program from so-and-so who has a huge social media following, and they were arguing back and forth with you for a service that maybe only costed like 5K. Now, if you're not seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, and when you started your business, you just thought, all I need to do is acquire some clients, deliver services, and then I'll just keep stacking them one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. And you've come to realize that it's not that easy and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This is exactly for you, because you're sitting in a red ocean and you're surrounded by other people that are so-called experts. And what I want to show you is going to differentiate you from all of them. All right. That little scenario that we just talked about, you're running Facebook ads, you're doing appointment setting, cold email, short form content, whatever it is, these are all commoditized services that I can technically go hire somebody on Fiverr to do for me. Therefore, you're on a race to the bottom and you're being commoditized. You're in a race to the bottom as far as price. Now, when you actually end up onboarding a client and you're at a low price, what ends up happening is you can't provide great service because you can't hire the best in the industry to create great results. And that just continues this cycle of a low retention rate because they get average results and they're expecting to get, outlandish results. And then they end up churning every 60 to 90 days. And then that puts you back into the cycle of finding more. I'm going to show you something that I learned back in 1999. And that was an idea of like selling high ticket upfront, getting cash, hiring superstars and the right tools to then provide an exponentially better experience. So today's topics I'm just going to go over this first one, but I am going to highlight some of these because I'm going to go over some of these other ones in a different video. Today is just number one. It's the solution system case study of leveraging a growth facilitation process and trends that's tied to the lessons that I learned back in 1999 when opening Insane Wakeboarding School in Northern California. These other ones, like a value creation model, how to build and implement offers, acquisition model, value-based funnels, and how to be infinitely scalable, the fulfillment model, which is 3 steps framework to be able to 10x. Then the other principle here is number 5, which is the island creation model, how you protect your processes to increase your cash flow and pricing power, retention and ascension and partnership model that essentially Alex Ramosi used during gym launch. I'm going to go over the personal story that I have to share with you is that back in 1999, I was getting out of college and I went to my other roommates. They were all business majors and I wanted to start a business. And I asked them, how do I start a business? And they relate to me that, like, well, they don't teach us how to start businesses in college. They just teach us how to run existing businesses. And that's kind of when I knew the whole college thing that I was doing wasn't necessarily a way to learn how to have skills in the real world. So I called up somebody that I knew that had started a business, and I started from there with a mentor. One of the first things that I knew starting that school was that it was a new trendy thing. There were water ski schools, but they couldn't effectively teach this new sport of wakeboarding. And the thing that I did is, of course, I called pretty much every boat company, every board sponsor. They were all in magazines. We didn't really have websites and the internet back in 1999. So I called all these people and I pitched them on my idea of my own wakeboarding school on a certain lake at a certain arena. And I got what I felt it was the coolest and best looking boat company to actually partner with me. And I chose that particular boat not because it had the best wake, not because it had the best features, but because it appeared to everybody to be the coolest. And it was the new trendy boat with special graphics. Having the best tools essentially catapulted me and separated me from my competitors. They ran those boats for 3 years, and it wasn't because they were the best. It was because they got the most attention. In order for you to understand how tools and talent play a role in today's online business market and how this model allows true freedom, I need to break down the problem of the old model first. And essentially that is you're selling one commoditized service. There's a low barrier to entry. There's thousands of competitors. It's hard to build a great offer without selling your soul in a guarantee. Now, lack of pricing power due to high competition, and you only profit enough to feel good for a second, but not enough to buy freedom by hiring a talented team. So to reflect back on that wakeboarding school, in the second year, the first thing I did was hire the best instructors I could find, and I overstaffed so I could remove myself from the process of day-to-day operation. So in this case, online, lack of tools and lack of talent leads to inconsistency with delivering any of your results. And that's what creates a high churn. And with a high churn, you never can get above just survival rate with onboarding new clients all the time. So this system right here, this model, it caps your income and it gives you the illusion of being a business owner. But in reality, you're just a superstar employee. You have 5 different jobs and you're a slave to this business. You've officially, right here, joined the rat race. This growth facilitator model, Flywheel, is completely different. And one of the 6 steps that I'll be sharing eradicates the constraints by the older model. This will take you from selling a commoditized service to building and implementing infrastructures, insights, systems, and talent into somebody's business that creates outputs that lead to their desired outcomes. This sophisticated offer gave me insane pricing power since clients couldn't get it anywhere else, primarily because my competition was too focused on getting their next sale than reinvesting revenue into building a systemized solution. So just like the wakeboarding school, you could go from just selling something for $1,500 to selling something for $15,000. This model is the one that I used with wakeboarding camps. And I don't know if you guys know what a VHS tape is, but that was my first VSL, I guess. And it was a tape that was sent out to every student that was interested in coming to a camp the next year. It showcased instructors' abilities, it showed common problems of students, and it showed our systems on how we solved those problems. Clients would pay upfront the winter before the summer pricing change. The average cost of a camp was 10 times that of a day lesson, and I would give them a 20% referral fee every time they referred somebody else to buy a camp. Right there, that created that flywheel because I created a bunch of affiliates if they referred somebody else. So it was free marketing. And I got cash up front to be able to buy that next nice boat, again, put that down payment on nice boats to be able to allocate talent and tools into the business. So this is very similar to what we're talking about here with a growth creator or a growth facilitator model in marketing. The high margins of charging upfront will allow you to get top talent. Getting top talent makes getting client results go through the roof, since most of the infrastructure is built once and it can be permanently implemented an infinite amount of times without much margin costs. I almost have zero operational drags when implementing infrastructures. This allows me to handle 10x the volume that I could with the other model every month without needing to slow down and without feeling like I have a ton of work on my shoulders. Most people with great offers are forced to slow down because of all the complexity. This model, however, because you get cash up front, you can hire team members and you can scale before implementation. Well, that allows you to have a infinite ability to bring on more clients instead of on a retainer where you're always trying to play catch up. So essentially, to review the model right here, over here on the side, essentially you're getting high ticket up front. So you can think of it's somebody paying for that wakeboarding class or that camp months ahead of time before the deliverable actually happens. And then that allows you to hire great talent, get great tools, and then provide a great service, which then makes them happy, which then keeps the cycle going. And I love this quote right here by Peter Thiel. Competition is overrated. In practice, it's quite destructive and should be avoided whenever possible. Much better than fighting for scraps in the existing markets is to create a new one. And that's what we're doing here. And as Peter says here, competition is for losers. So like I mentioned before, this is just a quick case study of showing you how I've used this same system from years ago and am re-implementing it today to provide better client results. I'll be going through these other 5 in future videos. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's a free school community down there where we teach people how to craft offers and how to take an offer online so that they can get paid on a global scale.